Hi friends! I am back in my garage where I have a whole lot of space now that my Volvo 850R is gone. So I figured that now that I have all this space, I might as well use it. So today I'm going to redo the headliner of my Volvo 850R. So for those of you that haven't seen the rest of this video series, I removed this headliner quite a while back already because, as you can see, the fabric's coming off. So I wanted to go and replace it and show you guys how it's done, because if you guys have a Volvo 850 yourselves, you probably have the same problem, because this always happens and it's actually quite easy to fix yourself. So let's do it together today. Now, of course, the first thing you want to do is remove the old fabric, and you can just throw it out because we're going to use some new one. And I already got it in the mail. Some of you may have already seen it because I already redid the sunshade liner with the same fabric. This part's a bit harder to remove, but you can just pull it and it will come off. Oh, by the way, for those of you that still want to see the video where I removed the headliner itself from the car, I'll link it down below, okay? Now that the fabric itself is removed, we get to this layer of foam that you want to remove as well. Now there's two things you can do. First thing you can do is just try to get it off by hand, but it's a bit sticky and nasty and I don't like to do that. And it can be a bit hard because sometimes it's too sticky to just get off like this. So what you can do to make it easier for yourself is use a little drill brush and brush it all off. And that way it will be a whole lot easier. You can use a bigger drill brush, but I forgot to bring it with me, so I'm gonna have to do with this small one today. See how easy that is? This makes such a mess. Oh yeah, now I remember why I don't do these things at home and I do them in my garage. Let's clean this up. You know what I should really get? A broom or something, because this isn't ideal. It does work pretty well though, so if you don't have a broom, just do it like this. Alright, that's all ready to go. Now, before I go and glue the new fabric in place, I'm gonna go and degrease the headliner. Now, it is a bit annoying to do on a Volvo 850 headliner because it has this weird structure, I guess, that's how you call it. Some cars do have a smooth surface, so that it's a bit easier to degrease, but I'm gonna go and degrease it anyways because the glue will stick a whole lot better then. Now you can just use any mild degreaser you like for this. I don't think it really matters. Now let's unpack the fabric. Alright, this is the fabric I'm going to use. It's a beige Alcantara and it's stretchy, which is really important because that will make the end result look a whole lot smoother, and it also has a layer of foam under there, which will also improve the end result. So do look for this kind of fabric. Now let's lay out the fabric to see how much we actually need. And now I'm going to cut the fabric. leaving a little bit of room. So you don't want to cut it too tightly. Now it's time to finally glue this in place. Now what I like to do is not glue it in place entirely all at once. So I like to fold this over and then do it in parts. So I'm just trying to split it in half. Like so. Now I'm going to divide the headliner in quarters. So I'm just going to put glue on this stroke. And then I'm going to glue it in place, then do that part and repeat the same process on the other half of the headliner. And the reason I'm doing it like this is because it leaves a whole lot less room for mistakes, because you'll just roll out the fabric instead of putting glue on the entire headliner and then putting all of the fabric on. So it is easier. It does take a bit more time, but you will make less mistakes. So, you know, it would be a shame if I glued everything on, it was crooked or something, and then I had to throw out the entire piece of fabric. So we're doing it like this, and yeah, that's what I recommend. But do it however you like. Now the glue I'm going to be using is this aerosol 3M auto adhesive. And I'm shaking 2 cans because I've already used almost all of this can for my sunroof shade, but you'll probably be able to do this with 1 big can. I hope, I don't know. This material does seem to soak up a whole lot of glue, so maybe I'll need more, but I got another can, so I'll test it for you guys. If you do have a station wagon, you definitely do need 2 cans, by the way. This headliner is a whole lot smaller and it also has a sunroof cutout, so I think I can do this with just 1. Now I'm just going to spray this glue on. See, this one's almost empty already. But you do gotta make sure to put a thick layer on there, especially when you have a Volvo 850, because like I said, this material does soak up a whole lot of the glue, and we don't want the headliner to fall off again in a few months, of course. Alright, on to the next can. Also make sure to really get in those corners. And also make sure to put it on the fabric itself as well. So put glue on both surfaces. And now we wait for 3 minutes until the glue gets a bit more sticky. Alright, we've waited for 3 minutes. Now let's glue this in place. I'm just trying to slowly put it in place, like so. Making sure not to get any folds in there or anything. And then you do want to go and firmly press it in place, making sure to get all the corners. And this is where the stretchy material comes in really handy. Alright, I hope you get the point. Now let's go and repeat the same process on the rest of the headliner. Alright, fabric's in place. Now I'm going to flip it over so I can cut it around the edges. And of course I'm going to lay something under there because my floor is a bit dirty and we don't want the fresh fabric to get all dirty as well. I put some super big plastic bags on the floor so I could put the headliner on there. And it does look like this one's super nasty, but I flipped them inside out, so this is on the inside. So it won't get nasty from that. I used to paint on these bags, as you can see. That's primer. Now here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to cut this fabric very tightly around the side of the headliner, because this piece will be covered by a little trim once it's installed in the car, so you won't be able to see the side. The front side I'm going to cut a little bit bigger so I can fold this fabric back over, because there won't be no trim piece covering the front side, so you will be able to look at the part where the fabric will be cut if you cut it tightly. So I'm going to cut this a little bit bigger, same for the back side, and then the sides I'm going to do as tightly as I can. It doesn't really matter, because like I said, there will be a trim piece going over there, so you won't be able to look into the foam part if you cut it too tightly. You know what I mean? And all of these holes I'm going to cut tightly as well, because they will be covered with other stuff that goes through the holes. You know, like that handle you can hold in your sunshades, sunblinds, you know? So yeah, let's go and cut all of these parts out. Oh, and the same goes for the hole of the sunroof, by the way, because there will be a little trim piece going around the edges, so I can cut that one tightly as well. Now to cut this fabric, I'm using this scalpel, which is really useful because you can make some really sharp lines with it. You do gotta replace the blade itself really often, but I think you need around 3 blades or something, and they're not that expensive, so I think this is ideal. And you just pull the fabric so that it sits tight, and then you can cut it out. Wait, I'll show you a close-up. So you just pull the fabric and then use the scalpel, and you can see how easily it goes. Now I'm just going to go and do this all around the headliner, and I'm also going to get rid of the fabric in these holes, like I said. But in the meantime, I wanted to ask you guys a question, because I do get a whole lot of personal questions in my comments, and I do try to reply to all of my comments, but I know that not everyone will see my replies. So I was wondering if you guys would be interested in a little Q&A very soon. Of course, I won't be sitting in front of the camera because I don't have time for that, but maybe I can go and fix one of my cars while answering you guys' questions. So please let me know if you're interested in it, and if you are interested, please drop some questions down below. I'll also ask the same question on Instagram, I think, so you can send me your questions there as well. But I thought it would be nice to get to know each other a bit better, I think. So I thought it would be fun to do a little Q&A soon. And I still gotta do things like an oil change for my V70, and I'm not going to make an entire video about it, but I thought I might be able to combine it by doing an oil change and some stuff like that while answering your questions, so that I can both fix my cars and answer your questions and multitask a bit, because I never have time for anything. So yeah, please drop your questions down below, and I'll try to answer them in a video soon. Now, like I said, at the front side, I am going to leave a little bit more fabric on, just like so, so I can flip this over and then glue it at the back side again. Okay, that will be a bit too big because it will cover this hole as well, so I'm going to cut it a bit smaller. By the way, I just put the second blade on the scalpel, so yes, it will take you 3 blades, I think. Don't forget to drink your daily energy drink. Okay, I cut all of the holes, so what I have left to do now is fold back both the front and the back piece. But before I do that, I'm going to remove this foam so it will be a bit less thick and it will fit better in the car. Now to do that, you just pull these two layers apart, and that shouldn't be too hard, but it does make a mess again. By the way, this step's totally optional, but I do feel like it looks a bit better because there isn't supposed to be such a thick layer of foam in between the headliner and the roof of the car itself. Now I have noticed that sometimes this foam wants to come off really easily and sometimes it doesn't, so you just gotta hope for the best. And this time it doesn't want to come off, so I'm struggling a bit, but that's okay. Also, this is a whole lot better to do on a workbench or something, which I don't have. Well, you do need a really big workbench for the headliner to fit on there, but it's better than sitting on the floor, I think. But we gotta do what we gotta do. You know what? I'm going to try and use the little scalpel for this. Nope, that's not easier at all. Oh, this is nice and cozy. Feels like laying on the beach for a day, except there's no beach and no sand and I'm laying on the concrete floor, but it's really hot in here, so I think this is pretty nice. Well, after some time and effort, I've managed to remove the foam both on the front side and the back side. So now I'm going to glue this back. Now, since this isn't a straight line, I'm going to make a few cuts in the fabric so it lays a bit smoother when glued back. So that's what I'm going to do now. Now I did run out of glue anyway, so I got some other glue that I'm going to use on the back side, since it's a bit less important, since it will be held in place in between the headliner itself and the car. So I am going to switch glue. So if you're doing this yourself, you're going to need 3 full bottles of that 3M spray if you're going to use that. These are quite big bottles. They're half a liter. You do have smaller ones as well. So then you will need even more bottles. That's just because of the material the headliner is made of. So if you're doing this with a car that has a smooth material as headliner, you will need less bottles. And that's it. I'm actually pretty happy with the glue because it seems to stick pretty well. And that's it for the headliner. Now, unfortunately, I cannot go and install it right away into my car because, you know, my car's not here. And I'm not going to drive all the way to Leon's place 2.5 hours just to install the headliner. So next time I'm there, I'm going to take this headliner with me and I'm going to try and install it. So then you will see the end result. But I am pretty happy with how it looks now. And I am also happy with the color I've chosen. It will make the interior a bit lighter. Now what I'm going to do is take my wheels, because these are the original wheels from my Volvo 850R. I'm going to take them home and get some new tires mounted on them. I don't think I can do that today, but I will show you my new tires next week, I hope. But yeah, that's it for today. Thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I hope to see you next time. Bye!